the acronym ALICE is alert, it is lockdown, inform, counter, and evacuate. So that's what ALICE stands for. It's a protocol that was developed well over a decade ago by a police officer, I believe in the Midwest, who his wife was a principal. And after some of these school shootings, they took a very close look at what is our response, and it typically is to lock down, shelter in place, get out of the way of the windows of the door and hide in the corner. And they really started to look at and examine past school shootings, and this is a protocol specific to a shooting. And what they looked at was the data suggesting that the police, while very prompt and respond to those crises in a very swift way. In many of these school shootings, the event is over by the time the police are actually on campus. They took a very careful look at Virginia Tech, and they looked at very specifically the rooms where there were more casualties in this particular room versus this particular room, and what was the difference? And the difference was the classrooms that did proactive strategies, blocking the door, making it difficult for the shooter to get into the room. Classrooms where they went out the window. It was on the second floor, a number of students had broken limbs and so forth. But the survivor rate of the rooms where they took action was significantly greater than the survivor rate where they're huddled in the corner. And they really started to look at the target, where if you're huddled in the corner and you have a person with a weapon, you're setting a very easy target. And they looked at the success rate of trained police officers in a static, and John can speak a lot more than I can. The success rate for a police officer in a situation is police officers sometimes are successful in hitting the target, but not all the time. And they saw in these shootings where people were huddled, the success rate of shooting was through the roof. It was significantly high.
Right.
And John probably knows the stats.
It was the accuracy rate is what they're talking about in terms. And the hardest, and we're police officers, when you're dealing with that, you're dealing with moving targets. And what they found out through these studies is that when they go into the rooms and the kids are huddled in a corner, they're a static target. They're not moving. So the hit rate or the accuracy rate is much higher. And as we've actually gone through this, and part of this, the ALICE protocol was as a result of the district attorney's office, one of their school safety initiatives was having this program, because I think when we looked at it and you looked after Columbine, our response was to surround and wait for SWAT. And looking through that, we've been able to determine that the actions that, not just the police officer, but the actions that the staff take at the school and how they respond to these has a huge impact on the outcome of these tragedies. So a combination of our response and then the response in the school, something had to change, because it was very static and kind of almost follow the leader type and no change, and there was no options. And this really is an option, ALICE, that gives the teachers options. It gives the students options. They can think and make different decisions to keep themselves safe.